It's all over every single news site. Trump got arraigned today in D.C. Everyone on the right is crying and gnashing their teeth. Everybody on the left, they're all celebrating today. But let's have a discussion about something. Because this is about Trump, and it's also about us in our future. You and me, future. Did you ever see one of those old Looney Tunes cartoons? And this is the scenario in the cartoon. They did this a bunch of different ways, but I used to watch Looney Tunes when I was a kid. And you'd have a chicken. You'd have a chicken sitting there, and he's walking around talking and joking, and he would come across a coyote or a wolf. And the chicken would just start talking to the coyote, and the coyote's talking back, and they're just talking. But then you see the coyote start to daydream, and he looks at the chicken, and all of a sudden he pictures this piece of fried chicken that he can eat. As he's looking at the chicken a totally different way than the chicken's looking at him. And the chicken doesn't know it. You remember those scenes? That's a lot of the right in this country. A lot of America's right. They're the chicken, sitting there having a conversation with the coyote or the wolf, and they just don't fully grasp how the coyote thinks, what he's thinking, what his plans are. You see, the communist, you don't have to understand him fully. It's probably best if you don't understand him fully. But you do have to understand this. He's really, really, really dead serious about how he thinks of you. And he thinks you're evil. What you think of him, set that aside. We can deal with that another time. He believes you are the height of evil. And he believes since you're the height of evil, anything he does to stop you, anything he does, it's all justified. It all makes him the good guy because he's the one stopping evil. And people on the right, they don't like to think about other people in that way. And they don't look at other people in that way. Seems wrong, seems yucky, right? But because we don't look at other people in that way, we convince ourselves that's not how they're looking at us. I'm going to play you a little video clip right now. Michael Fanone was one of these scumbag Capitol Police officers that lied afterwards, and he's just been lying. He's an obviously Democrat operative, but that's not important. That's not important. And Michael Fanone went on CNN, and he voiced something. And before I play it for you, I want to caution you with this. You know how I tell you stay out of the blue areas, stay out of the big cities, and if you have to go to those cities for work or whatnot, keep your head down and your mouth shut. No political activity in these places. And I'll get people, they'll yell back at me. People from the right, people from our side. People who will yell back at me, what are you saying? I don't have rights? Jesse, I've got the First Amendment. We got to protest for Trump in D.C. Okay, go protest for Trump in D.C. When you get arrested and thrown in jail, I want you to watch Michael Fanone here. Your jury in D.C. is going to be made up of 12 of these people.
When I first learned about the indictment, I had a long conversation with a friend of mine, Ryan Riley, and I told him how proud I felt to be an American at that moment, much in the way that I did when I learned that our military had killed Osama bin Laden. I just felt incredibly proud.
Trump's indictment made him feel the same way he felt when Osama bin Laden died. They look at you like they look at Trump as if you're Osama bin Laden. Now, let me ask you, if you were to ever sit on a jury and let's say Osama bin Laden was dead or was alive, and Osama bin Laden was on trial and you were on that jury, would you vote to convict Osama bin Laden of really anything, even if the charges were bogus? Of course you would. And that's how that jury of 12 in D.C., New York, L.A., pick your spot, that's how they're going to think when they look at you. And that leads me to something else that's confusing people on the right. when Julie Kelly comes on the show and says this, what keeps Donald Trump out of federal prison?
Winning the presidency. That's it. That's the only hope that he has. Because if he wins, of course, he can fire everyone at DOJ. All the cases could go away. Outside of that, I don't see any relief that he can get, because it won't happen. They've created this bloodlust on the Democratic Party base to get Donald Trump behind bars. And they're going to do it one way or the other.
You will hear, when you talk like that, you will hear people start yelling. And they'll think in their minds somehow that you're cheering for it, or they'll say things like this: he will prevail. No, Jesse, Trump's going to beat this. And I understand. I understand that people are scared and they're desperate and they're angry. And so you want to hang on to stuff like that. So I get that. But prevail how? In what way? There's no prevailing in a corrupt communist gulag system like the Washington, D.C. court system where Donald Trump was just arraigned today. But I'm not mad at the people who yell about that. I'm really genuinely not. I understand people are desperate and scared. I am, however, mad at the people with platforms and influence on the right who take advantage of those people who say things like that. No, yes, you're right. Trump's going to win. Trump's got it covered. D.C. can't beat Trump. We will overcome. That's not properly preparing people for the days we're going into. We have days we're going into that are going to be very hard. They're going to be hard for you, and they're going to be hard for me. And we're going to watch things we never thought we'd watch here in the United States of America: indictments, arrests of political opponents, crazy banana republic stuff. And it's going to be stressful enough just watching it happen. But it's going to be twice as stressful if you've somehow allowed these lying snakes to delude you into believing things that simply aren't true. Trump is caught up in the system, in a very evil system, and it's wrong and it's unjust and it shouldn't be happening. But it is happening, and we are on desperate ground here. So let's not do pie in the sky savior fantasies. Let's focus on what we know. Let's focus on what we can do. That's why I've been screaming about getting some action from the GOP. And let me caution you with one other thing before I get to GOP action. Let me caution you with something. Because you love your country, as you watch these people commit unspeakable acts as they're doing right now, it can be very tempting, especially in this online world. Everyone's on their phone, on social media. It can be very, very tempting. Start venting your feelings out there a little bit, especially to that patriotic friend of yours. He's an online friend. Great dude. He was in the Marines, that's what he says. And you're very tempted at times when you get angry and desperate to text things like, it's time to take up arms. No more voting. Time to start shooting. You just texted that to an FBI agent and you're going to go to prison. Keep yourself legal at all times, including in your words. These people are dying to throw you in prison. Legal at all times, all right? Which brings me to the GOP. So what can we do? What can we do? Well, sadly, this is what's frustrating. I can't do anything. You can't do anything to help Trump besides pray for him. Nothing. There's nothing you can do to help him. There's nothing I can do to help him. The only chance we might have is some red state AGs indicting and arresting Democrats. Democrats commit crimes, lots and lots of crimes. Why aren't we arresting them? Where's the arrest? How many are there? 27 red state AGs. How many arrests of Democrats, prominent Democrats, have we had since Donald Trump started getting indicted and arrested? Zero. Do we have just a legion of AGs following in the steps of Bill Barr, talking about how we won't do a tit for tat?
Those who broke the laws will be held to account. But this cannot be, and it will not be, a tit-for-tat exercise. We are not going to lower the standards just to achieve a result. The only way to stop this vicious cycle, the only way to break away from a dual system of justice, is to make sure that we scrupulously apply the single and proper standard of justice for everybody.
Yeah, of course, that's not the only way to make it stop it. That doesn't make it stop it at all, because the coyote's still looking at you like you're a piece of chicken. You don't make him stop by him admiring your standards. You make it stop by visiting the same things on him he's done to you until he calls a truce and says, hey guys, let's stop all that. My bad. Let's lay it down. That's the only way to make it stop. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. You want to watch our special on George Washington? It's freaking awesome. Well, you can. All you have to do is become a First TV supporter. That gives you access to all of our specials on demand, and it's cake. All you have to go to is thefirsttv.com/support. Thefirsttv.com/support. Become a supporter. Enjoy learning about George Washington.